Hello and welcome back. Today we continue exploring the six mental faculties, and this episode is dedicated to the will, our incredible ability to choose where our attention goes, but most important, how to keep it there. So, what is the will? The will is often misunderstood. It's not about force, it's not about resistance or grinding through life. The will is our power to concentrate, not by force, but by choice. It allows us to focus on one thought, one intention, one goal, with clarity and consistency, even when the world tries to pull us in 1,000 different directions. So in simple terms, it's the difference between living on autopilot and living with intention. Now, before we go any further, I want to take a moment to make an important distinction because this often comes up. The will is not the same as willpower. See, willpower is what we use when we're trying to push through something, resist temptation, or force ourselves to do what we don't really like doing. It's more physical. It's like a muscle. It works for a while, but it gets tired. And that is why we run out of it. We run out of willpower quick. That's what happened with New Year's resolutions. They don't last. But the will, as a mental faculty, is something much deeper. It's not about pushing. It's about choosing. See, the will is a long-term focus on a chosen idea. The willpower is short-term resistance to an urge. Willpower helps us say no to another cookie, another drink, another piece of cake, or drag ourselves to the gym when we don't want to. The will helps us stay focused on what we want to become or what we want to achieve. One is resistance, the other one is creation. Willpower burns out, but will, when trained, will guide us our whole life. On our prior episode, we talked about imagination, remember? We talked about our ability to build mental pictures of what we want to experience, whether it's a goal or a dream or a vacation or a new version of ourselves. Imagination is what allows us to see what we want before it becomes real. But here's the thing. Just imagining once isn't enough. The real transformation happens when we hold that picture in our mind long enough for it to take root in our subconscious and begin to influence our actions, our feelings, and what shows up in our lives. And that is where the will comes in. The will is the faculty that allows us to keep that vision we imagined steady and alive. So think of it like the imagination creates the picture, the will holds that picture in the screen of our minds. In other words, without the will, that picture gets lost. It fades. It will get replaced by fear, by doubt, by distractions, or old habits. But when we use the will, we return to that image again and again. It's like a lighthouse guiding us through a storm. We're not ignoring reality. There is a storm, but we choose to stay focused and loyal to the reality we want to create. So if you've imagined something beautiful for your life, your job now is to use the will to hold that picture. Return to it often. Nurture it. Protect it from being erased by the noise of the outside world. That is how we move from wishing to becoming, from wishing to creating. There is something really powerful that happens when we use our will to hold the vision in our minds. When we hold that image on purpose, with intention, and especially with feeling, we're activating a creative force within us. We're telling our subconscious mind, this is what I choose, this is where I'm going. And the more we return to that image, the more it begins to influence how we think, how we feel, what we notice, what actions we take, and as a result, what shows up in our lives. This isn't daydreaming, guys. It isn't fantasy either. This is creative concentration backed by the will. It has power and it has energy. And what do we know about energy? That everything we give energy to, what happens? It grows. It expands. But most of us give our energy what we don't want. We give energy to fear instead of faith, problems instead of solutions. The will allows us to pull our attention away from what we don't want and consciously direct it towards what we do want. So how can we strengthen the will? Well, we have to practice. There is no other way. I wish there was a shortcut, but there isn't. Now I'm going to share with you an exercise that I learned while studying with Bob Proctor. It's called the candle gazing exercise. It's a classic and it's powerful. And it gives us the ability to strengthen the will through focus, concentration. It's very simple, but incredibly effective. And what you do is you're going to light up a candle, place it at eye level, maybe 2-3 feet in front of you. You're going to sit on your favorite chair, back straight, and your hands resting on your lap. And you're going to gaze at that flame. Don't strain, don't stare aggressively, just gently observe the flame. And if your mind starts to wander, which it will, because that's what the mind does and very well, you bring it back to the flame. No judging, this is training, we're learning. And as you practice candle gazing, you're not just training your eyes, you're training your mind to become still, to rest on a single point without wandering. At first, it might feel like you're just watching the flame, but I promise you, with practice, something deeper begins to happen. One day, you're not going to be watching at the flame any longer. You are going to become one with it, and that's very powerful. Give it a try. Now, some people say, well, I don't have time for the candle thing or whatever. So here's another thing. No extra time. Just pick one task that you do in the morning. Whether it's making your bed, preparing a cup of tea or coffee, brushing your teeth. You're already doing it, but you're going to do it with full presence. No multitasking, no phone, no TV, just awareness. We're trying our minds to stay where we are, not to rush where it's not. So this will quiet your thoughts. Your breath will slow. You will feel present, stillness. All of a sudden, there is no noise. It is you and what you're doing, whether it's the flame, the brushing your teeth, or the making your bed. You don't force this. You allow it. And over time, your ability to return to that inner stillness becomes so strong, not just during the candle practice or the making the cup of tea or coffee or brushing your teeth, but in life. You are going to notice that in moments of stress, you will find it easier to stay centered. In moments of chaos, you'll know how to hold your focus because you have trained your mind to be still. And that stillness becomes your superpower. And the more we practice this, the more powerful it becomes. Now, all of this, the imagination, the will, the ability to concentrate or direct our energy on purpose, these aren't talents that some people are born with and some without. These are faculties of the mind that are built into each and every human being. But they don't grow automatically. In the same way we take our bodies to the gym, we must take our minds to the gym. We must develop these faculties through study and conscious use. So how do we get better at this? Well, here's your answer. Study, study, study. Study your mind, study your patterns, study these faculties, reflect on what you learn, journal, apply, and repeat. That's how awareness becomes transformation. That's how we reclaim that power that's already within us. There is no other way. I'm Grace Bosco, and I want to thank you very much for joining in today. And I want you to know that every time you tune in, it says something very important. You're not here by accident. You are here because something inside you is ready to live with more intention, more clarity, and more alignment. So thank you for showing up. I'm grateful for yourself, for your growth, and for the journey we're walking together. We'll talk soon. Until then, take that mind to the gym.